Like to welcome everyone here and online to the Claymont City Board of Education special meeting, February 24th, 2022, 5 p.m. Roll call.
Mr. Cottrell,
Here.
Mrs. Grandison, here, Mrs. Host, here, Mr. Miles,
Here.
Mrs. Wolf, here.
Time 5:01. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So in the couple of the items we had were to look at approving some boiler systems, but we want to kind of give you an update on where we are with the ESSER funds. This would be for the ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 for expenditures. So Mrs. Beckley can go over that now, and if you have questions, we can, she can answer those as we go through those.
So in front of you, I had given you, actually, I did ESSER 1, 2, and 3. ESSER 1 is basically almost completely paid down. For our district, we only have like $32 left within that. We do have some non-public that still needs spent out, so with $1,096 total in ESSER 1. ESSER 2, you can kind of see that everything was put in supplies and capital outlay. We have a total allocation of $2,013,367 with a total spent so far on the left-hand side down towards the bottom. We've spent 1.4 million. We've still got encumbered 66,000. So basically a total spend of 1,468,736. And you can see what supplies and capital outlays that have been done with that, boiler systems, the roofs. And then it shows on the right-hand side what the encumbered outstanding POs we still have for that. So in ESSER 2, we do have a balance of $544,630. ESSER 3, we were kind of updating this again today. We have a total allocation of $4,524,948. Total spent to date, February's, I don't have, without the month being closed yet and payroll completely being posted, I estimated the February, but we're at about $170,000 of spent. But you can kind of see what we have listed on the other side, like towards our 20% learning loss. The ones that have purchase order numbers beside them, that those have already actually been paid and expensed already. The ones that don't are what we're estimating and predicting for the future. And as you see down at the bottom, then we've actually spent over that 20% if we spend everything that's allocated as is there. And we didn't even have a cost for math curriculum to put in there. Jody didn't even know what to even estimate it at. So
you still have math curriculum to put in the
depending on what, yeah. I mean, but I just wanted to, give you updates and get asked for kind of an updated.
So is the total spent estimated on the right, the 929, does that include the 170,095 or is it plus?
No, that would be
Inclusive?
It would be,
Okay.
whatever was in that 170 that is captured in the 20% learning loss or would be in that.
Okay.
Any other questions on ESSER funds?
Well, I think the questions that was being raised today was then, do we look at, what do we do with the boilers as far as lines A and B on the agenda? Do we look at it, go ahead and approving them or waiting? But Beth is here kind of to answer those questions, but like she said at the last board meeting, I hope you'll see tomorrow when we go downstairs. I think some of that's duct taped together as far as being functional. So we're either going to have to do a replacement or a complete overhaul, depending on which path you go. Now, whether you table this and move it on to after you make a decision, one way or the other, that could change the quotes too, because this is locked in right now for how many days?
The quote was good for,
30 days.
oh, so we've had it since February 8th then.
We had another one, yeah, done this.
Like-
And it starts that full, but you know, we.
Well, I know when I was reading through the agenda today, I asked Mr. Wrench, you know, because I knew Kim had done the updated, or had done this once before, so I said, well, can we see where we're at? And then the second part was, if I remember correctly, the estimated repairs, if we do nothing, it, for the intermediate is like $900,000, and this is a third of that cost. So for me, it was like, what if the board does decide we're gonna shut the intermediate down and we're gonna keep Trenton and Eastport, and we've just spent $300,000 on boilers that we're not gonna get a useful life out of, per se. So that's why I went back. I'm like, okay, well, where are we? And I know timing stinks, and, you know, I think we've recognized, like the new board members have recognized that, you know, we have to do something, and we're just really trying to make sure, I know for me, I'm just really trying to make sure that whatever decision I go with, I have to be able to support it and go to sleep at night. It's the same thing with reconfiguration, right? Not everybody liked that, but we did it because we thought it was in the best interest of the district. I still think it's in the best interest of the district, and I was okay. And it'll be the same thing with whatever we decide to do with these ESSER funds, you know, I'll be okay. I just, that's a lot of money. And in my mind, if I put that much money into the intermediate, it's not an even option for me to close it. That's just my, you know. Do you need a microphone? Because I keep talking this way and not at you, and I feel bad because, or could you like sit in the front row? I want to talk to you, but nobody can hear.
That's okay. A little bit of backstory. At the previous board, we were pretty much going down the path of closing of the primary school.
Mhm.
And so that is why I went forward first with getting the quotes and everything on the intermediate. When you guys were putting those different options, 3, 4, 5, you know, that keeps
Mhm.
going. I have then contacted, also done the walkthrough with the primary to get those costs. It takes a while because they have to engineer everything. So they're telling me they will have quotes. I've asked to have that done by the March meeting, because I really, the lead times on doing those of getting those are long. So I could,
Like the
I mean,
March
I
10th
could-
meeting or the March 14th meeting?
the March 14th, the
Okay.
actual where you're, if you are making a decision that evening on what you're doing, you know, if that's done earlier and then you vote on those, then we could meet the timeline of still doing it in the summer. For both buildings, one building, whatever's decided. So I'll just need to go back. I don't know if these numbers will stay the same. I'll just have to wait and see. But it's 2 months, 2 to 8, 10 weeks type of
Right.
thing to get the stuff. And usually I try to get the people in June as soon as possible, and everything's torn up June, July. Because I try to help, I just try to make, that's a very messy job. And you know, people are trying to clean the building while we're messing it up. But it leaves, at least leaves August to, you know, they're out of the building. You know, the air conditioning all has to be turned off, the lines all drained, you know, it's a pretty involved process.
No,
So,
I can appreciate that. And
so I mean, that
trust
I
me,
can make,
nobody wishes more
that.
than
Oh, I
me
know.
that the prior board, with whatever path they were going on, that they would have made a decision before they left. Nobody wishes that more than me, I guarantee
no,
it.
no, it's,
Because You know, I'm trying to catch
It's a
up.
hard decision.
And
So,
I feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I mean, if we can, if you could do that in March, then I'll go and requote it and bring it back at the next board meeting. if
That's
what
just
you
my,
want,
that-
if that's what you want us to do.
that's just
So-
my opinion. I mean, I'm 20%. I'm one of 5 people, so it's not my call. I just want to make sure that I'm communicating, you know, where I'm at on it, because that's a lot of money. And I just,
Well, as of now, the heat's still on. I mean, so, you know, we can go through and at some point we'll turn off the heat and turn it over to chillers because it will start cooling off. It will have to start running air conditioning, but
are the chillers okay?
they're,
They need some.
yeah, they need work, but I mean.
But the
they-
kids aren't gonna sit, well, it's gonna be April, May. It's not gonna be
It's
super hot
not-
anyway.
no,
It's
it's not gonna be
August,
80.
yeah,
Well, it shouldn't be 95 degrees, but,
right.
but I
Who
think
knows?
whether you move these items to the March 14th meeting, then you move them to the March 14th meeting, and, you know, you, as Mr. Miles said, the last meeting, we'll have a decision one way or the other. March 14th, and then from there, we'll have quotes and what we need to do in our bag, and it can be under new business.
I'm in agreement with you, Cindy. I had the same question. Why are we approving 300,000 tonight if we haven't made a decision? Unless it's an emergency and they.
Right.
And they need it now. So, I mean, us with having the forum and listen to, I mean, I don't want to go ahead because if we're going to spend money, then we might as well cancel the forum and not listen to anybody else. So I mean, I'm in agreement with maybe we table it and wait to the March 14th, unless, Mrs. Lynn, unless they need it like today.
It's still working. I mean, the heat's on.
Right.
But it's,
I know, we need to make a decision
Yeah.
with what we're doing.
Yeah.
But even if we decided to close that voting, we would still have to put money into it because of the 2-year thing. But we could probably maybe just fix instead of replace them.
get it, so the duct tape comes off of the controls.
New duct tape, is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Duct tape
So
fixes
it would-
everything.
As I told Mrs. Oates today in an email, we either need to look at replacement or an overhaul, but it has to be operable in whatever decision, whatever path is you guys choose.
That's stay functioning for the following year. Yeah.
You feel the estimate, I mean, it's going to change? I mean, you never know, but I mean, what are we talking here, the estimate that you received here until March 14th? I mean,
How much was the one before this one? Right? If this is your second, is it relatively the same?
They held the price from last month to this month for me, so I'm hoping they'll do the same. I can't guarantee that though. So the steel, you know, the prices of steel keep going up, and
Could you ask them, since we're going to meet on the 14th, in just a few
Yes.
days?
yes,
they
yeah,
would
that's
go
what,
ahead
yeah,
with-
that's what I'm gonna do. And I think they'll work with us on it. We've given them, the company, a lot of money. We've got a good relationship with them. So I think that's, and then I think the other would be the primary schools. I hope to have that as well. I don't know, this is just new information that I had today, a conference call with the engineers about the primary school and the humidity problem there. And I'm a little frustrated by the process, but what they felt is like they potentially had a solution, but they really don't feel like they can give us a solution until they experience the problem again. So they can put sensors in, humidity. I mean, you know, it's one thing to say, we tell them that, but I mean, to put things to collect data, what's the, where is the humidity problems, to pinpoint where the problems are. They really feel like they need to see that and experience that and collect data before they give us a good solution that's going to fix the problem. And it's not going to, it's going to be expensive. So I want to make sure it fixes the problem. So I guess that's not the answer I wanted to hear today, but which means that there might be some problems again in August timeframe with schools opening, when they're opening at the primary, but we'll put the things in place and try to figure out, I mean, if we have a humid June or July, we'll collect that data then. But usually it's more the August timeframe that we have that type of weather that we would experience that.
And it's mainly the 1960s.
Yes, yes.
Which you said it wasn't a problem until the roof got.
I mean, that's just that's my take on it, just to kind of cause and effect, but yeah, definitely a circulation type of thing. And, but there's, there's multiple ways to fix that. But I'm just not, I'm just not ready. I don't know that what they have is we would just be throwing money away by guessing and putting something in that may or may not work. So I just feel bad that if school starts, we may still have that problem. And that's not what I wanted.
And that's obviously concerning too, because we're expected to make a decision on March 14th and we don't know what the problem is at the primary building or what the cost of that's going to be.
Well, I
to
can tell
include
you
in
one,
the
I can
analysis.
tell you one of the solutions that they had out there, I don't have a cost, is that they would put multiple roof units on for cooling those areas. So the chiller would not cool those areas of the other units, which is more expensive to operate from an electrical standpoint, and then we've got two different solutions for cooling. So I mean, I don't really like that idea, but that is one. The other was basically, this is a bigger ticket item. They couldn't give me a cost. I said, even give me a ballpark. They really couldn't do that. So they saw how bad the problem or where that humidity was coming from is basically a commercial dehumidifier, a giant commercial dehumidifier that would sit also on the roof and be running that air through and pushing that back out, which makes sense to me more so. But I don't have costs of that yet. I mean, there's a healthy number in that
Yeah, it was
line item for that.
200,000.
Yes, because
But is 200,000 going to be enough?
I don't know. I mean, a boiler costs about that. So, I mean, I would think it would. But I don't want to purchase that and that be not the answer.
No,
So,
I agree.
so I
guess
think we
it's-
got to wait on that. And I mean, that's just going to be, all of those rooms have dehumidifiers now. They had, if need be, and they have sinks. So they just basically sit those near the sinks and run them continuously if they need to, if it's high humidity overnight. And that's kind of how we were solving that issue this year. So I would say that would continue if we had high humidity conditions when school starts in that building for those rooms.
Eric, you might know more about this than I do, but in that way, are there issues with like circulation? Because I know that they have issues in one of the rooms. Using it.
There was the bus, it was past the restroom, the primary.
Right.
It was past or headed towards the old wing for the kindergarten.
On the left.
On the left, the first room, on the bus side. They said
They couldn't,
They
the
had no
heat
heat.
didn't circulate, so they had the dehumidifier turned around, like low heat out that way to warm up. So I didn't know if there was issues with circulation over there.
I mean, I do think it's circulate. I mean, it's definitely a circulation thing. And if you look at the ceilings in those classrooms, they're metal. So there's not a lot of air gap space between the ceiling and what's above. So, I mean, yeah, one of the things they talked about with this commercial dehumidifier, it sounds kind of odd, but it would basically condition the air above the ceilings, all of the air that's going through, which then runs through. And, you saw the ceiling tiles have kind of those bow. It's from humidity. That was part of what that commercial dehumidifier would do, conditioning spaces. So, I don't have the answers yet on that, which
That kindergarten room there is part of the 60s.
yes, all of the problems that we're having. I mean, the thing that doesn't make sense to me is the 60s building of Eastport Elementary is the same, built the same way, same ceilings, everything. We don't have that problem there. So I I don't know why one we do and one we don't, but
Did they enclose a play area in that area? I went back to. Wasn't
when,
that
in
play
the
area?
year 2000, the music, yeah, there's a room 105 that is, they blocked that in and, yeah, yep, made it a room. Preschool room now.
Going to then move those items to March 14th. We need a motion to move those to the second items. Table them and move them to the March 14th agenda. Or potentially act on, or just table them. I don't know.
You're gonna visit them.
Tomorrow, Mr. Rich and I and Mr. O'Hara.
I did ask Troy Sproul to come along if he's available, because he has keys to get around. So, but if he's not, he said he'd ask Matt Grant or other stuff.
Well, we have options, so, I mean, it's not gonna hurt us to wait until March 14th.
Yeah, I make a motion, we table superintendent items A and B.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mrs. Host,
Yes.
Mr. Cottrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Grandison.
Yes.
Mr. Miles
Yes.
and Mrs. Wolf.
And then that leaves us with the one item, the item C, that is following policy, is board policy of 7.08, achievement testing and acceptance use policy, which are computer acceptance policy. Our policy committee met last week and reviewed those policies. So I don't know if Mr. Cottrell and Mrs. Wolf, you'd like to kind of review those for everybody, or what was in your packet. As far as board policy 7.08, what was in bold was actually is the addition to the policy. What was highlighted in the acceptable use is the change for the acceptable use policy.
I mean, I called every individual. What we discussed.
So everybody's up to date.
Telehealth.
Okay, so we need a motion and a second to approve policy 7.08 achievement testing.
So moved.
Roll call?
Mrs. Host,
Yes.
Mrs. Wolf. Yes. Mr. Cottrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Grandison,
Yes.
Mr. Miles.
Yes. At this time, we've got an executive session. Employment with no action to be taken.
Make a motion, we move into executive session.
Second. Roll call?
Mrs. Host,
Yes.
Mr. Miles,
Yes.
Mr. Cottrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Grandison.
Yes.
Mrs. Wolf.
Yes.
Time 5:24. Board is back in session after executive session. 6:02.
April board meeting is the 12th, I think, of April, or 11th of April. I don't remember, one of the 2 days. There is a conference, it's the OASBO, the officials of business professionals conference starts on on Sunday and it goes through Wednesday. There are some important, there's some items in there I personally would like to see myself be able to have an opportunity to go to. And I know Kim really has some things that she'd like to ask them that we move our meeting maybe to the next week. Because that is spring break for staff that are here normally. But, I don't know if that's possible, because we would like to know if we could do that so we could start looking a room for that conference.
So the board meeting was supposed to be on the 11th, which is.
Yes,
Yes.
it would be, if we could do it the next week.
Do it on a Monday.
No,
The only reason I ask is because we're in baseball season,
yes,
and baseball's Mondays and Wednesdays. So, but Tuesday, the 19th, we don't have baseball. But we do have-
Tuesday works for me at this time. It's historically kept on Mondays. The 19th. Like I said, when I was at Frontier, we got all the people pretty much work swing shifts, so and plus they didn't want to miss their kids' game, so they moved every month's meeting was never the
I
same.
would never do that to you, but
Yeah.
if we're gonna move it, and
You might as well move
we,
it
if
to
we
the-
could move it to a Tuesday or a Thursday, because that's
We're
typically.
three of the baseball.
Yeah, no, the 19th or the 21st is fine.
And either one of those will work for Lois.
Until they have makeup games, right?
Well, you get-
Yeah. Right.
You pick what you would be okay with. It doesn't make, the 19th or 20th, I'm fine. It's the rest of you, just your calendar.
I can't do the
21st,
20th, because that's a
21st,
Wednesday.
I meant
21st, yeah.
21st.
I have no preference for those days. You- schedules.
19th. Fine.
And that gives everybody plenty of time for notification. We'll meet at 6 o'clock. regular time, right?
Yes. Actually, it's already in the middle. I already have it on, I have that on the calendar. All right, I appreciate that. I know
Yes.
We good?
I'm good. Thank you.
Adjourn. We need a motion in a second.
I'll second it.
So far.
So 5.